We are doing page 466, 1 through 22. Alright, we're getting started. Number 1. 2 minus square root of 3 times 2 plus square root of 3.
4 square root.
Do you guys remember, it's been a while, the chapter where we FOILed?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember what happened when we FOILed? Do you remember what I called these two things? Started with a C. Conjugates. Do you remember what happened when we FOILed conjugates like this? Okay, part of it came, not all of it. FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. The outside, inside, the middle stuff cancels out. And so really all you have to do when they're the same but the minus plus, you only have to do first and last on these. If it's like this. So what is first? 2 times 2 is 4. What is last?
Negative square root of 9.
Okay, square root of 9 is 3. Remember when you take a square root times itself, when you square root, the square roots cancel out. So it's minus 3. So it's 1. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. It's square root of 9, which is normal 3. So what happened here when we did multiply the conjugates, the square roots went away. See that? That's kind of a nifty trick, so we get a 1. That only happens if they're opposite like that. Number 3 is number 3 a conjugate?
3? Yes.
Yes, they are.
It's the other way. Oh, wait.
Alright, so what would the first be?
9. Square root of 9.
Square root of 9 is 3. What would the last be?
11. Minus 11.
Negative 11. Minus 11. What is 3 minus 11?
Minus 8.
Negative 8.
Let's go.
Okay, number 5.
Would that just be
Is this the conjugate?
5 minus 3? It would just be 5
What is square root of 5 minus square root of 3 squared?
5 minus 3.
Okay, it means 2 of them. It's still a FOIL. You cannot just square them each. Square root of 5 minus square root of 3. So these are not conjugates. So we actually have to FOIL. So what is the first? Square root of 5 times square root of 5?
5.
Is 5.
And
Outside?
9 minus 8. 15.
Minus square root of 15. Inside? Minus square root of 15. What do you think negative square root of 15 minus square root of 15 is?
Negative 30.
Nope. Okay, this goes to yesterday. It's negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2 square root of 15. Here, I'll write it out.
Huh?
The outside is minus square root of 15, right?
Yes.
The inside is minus square root of 15.
Yes.
The last is 3.
Yes.
Okay, the middle two terms, actually let's do this. What's 5 plus 3?
8.
8. The middle two, this is basically what we did yesterday. It's basically negative 1 square root of 15 minus 1 square root of 15.
We did that yesterday.
We added them to
Minus
yesterday.
2.
Minus 2 squared. No, actually it was
15. Not yesterday.
Friday.
That was like
It's
last
Friday.
week.
Yeah, it was Friday. Minus 2 squared root of 15.
It's quite confusing.
It's kind of like minus x, that would be minus 2x. Minus square root of 15 minus square root of 15 is minus 2 square root of 15. If we'd done an assignment yesterday, that would be a little better. You mean put a plus 8 over here instead of here? Yes. They usually put the normal number in front though. Not that you have to. Number 7. 7 plus square root of 3, 4 minus square root of 11. Okay, what's first?
First, I mean, 28.
28. What's outside? 7 times square root of 11 is 7 square root of 11. Okay, what's inside?
4.
4 square root of 3. And square root of 3 times square root of 11?
33.
Square root of 33, but there's a negative right there.
-3.
Does 33 simplify? That means no. Can these go add together? No. So we can't really do anything on this. That's just the answer.
That sucked.
I bet the calculator won't do that. Have you, did anybody plug in the calculator already? Harder? Did you try?
Tried it on the next one.
Yeah, the calculator I think can only do like 2 things at a time, not 4 things at a time.
So if we plug like number 1 into our calculator.
Well, I'm talking about most Texas Instruments can't do
This.
number 1 or, well, actually number 1 it probably could, but number 4 couldn't do that. All right, 9, 6 minus 2, 8 plus 4. Did I write it right? Yeah, all right. Square root of 8 does simplify, and we could simplify that to start with, but I'll save that for the end, I guess. Okay, what would the first be?
48.
Square root of 48, which is going to simplify. What would the outside be? 4 square root of 6. Inside? Minus square root of 16. What is square root of 16 now? 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and change that to a 4. And then what would that be? Minus 4 square root of 2. Alright, does 6 simplify? Square root of 6? No.
No.
Remember, we're looking for doubles, but 48 definitely will. 2 doesn't simplify.
6 and 8.
You guys remember? Well, I'm going to cheat on this one and go to the.
Cheat code?
Well, I'm not cheating, but you think of 6 and 8, not 16 and 3, but it's easier to do 16 and 3 because 4 square root of 3. Okay, I kind of skipped the step where you break it down to the 2's because that would just be 2 times 2 is 4. Anyway, so we got 4 square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 6. Does that mix?
Yeah.
Minus 4 square root of 2. Does any of this mix? No. These are all not like terms. They're all different.
Imagine saying yes to that.
So when you have like
Could not be me.
3 things that don't go together, this is when your none of the calculators work on these kinds of problems. You can try it.
Imagine saying yes to that.
Square root of 3, that's kind of like an x. Square root of 6, that's like a y. Square root of 2, that's like a z. None of these are like terms. None of these add together. They have to both be like square root of 3 or both square root of 5 or something like that. Number 11. Okay. 11 is really short and sweet. I mentioned this word at the beginning.
Don't lie.
It says
Don't lie.
state the conjugate of the expression.
That'd be square root of 5. Stop.
No. Does anybody think they know what the conjugate for number 11 is? Okay, on number 1, I said when you multiply these 2 things together, stuff cancels out. Those are called conjugates. Okay, back when we were doing 1 and 3, those are conjugates. So what is the conjugate for number 11?
-3.
Okay, number 1, those things we multiplied together were conjugates.
It's minus 3 plus.
That's what it says right now. So what would the conjugate?
Minus 5 minus 3.
Right, you just changed the sign in the middle, not this sign, just the one in the middle.
I don't understand that at all.
Right then. 1 through 3 were
That was the
conjugates.
opposite thing you would do.
Yes. 1 through 3, those are conjugates. So on 11, what is the conjugate for what they give us?
Joe.
Negative 3 minus square root of 5.
I'm just Joe, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, number 13. So let me go, before I do 13, let me go back in time a little bit.
Joe. Joe.
Was this, I don't remember what day this was. Do you remember when we had a squared on the bottom, we were not supposed to leave it on the bottom?
Yes.
And you remember how I fixed it?
Times that.
Like that? So it's just 5 square root of 3 over normal 3? Okay, this was probably sometime last, I don't know, maybe Thursday or something. We did that.
You just change it back into it, so we'll do.
So you're not supposed to leave a square root on the bottom is the point. On number 12, we've got a square root on the bottom. Or actually 13, I mean. 13, we've got a square root on the bottom. But I can't just multiply by square root of 3. Why not? Because if I did, I would have to multiply all of this by square root of 3, and I would still have a square root on the bottom, so that doesn't fix it. Guess what does fix it? The conjugate.
Yeah.
Because when you multiply the conjugate, stuff cancels out and your square roots go bye-bye. So do you guys see the difference between the problem I just did and this problem?
Yes.
There's 2 terms on the bottom. That's what makes it a little more
So we're gonna
complicated.
have to foil
So you have to, well,
and then just put a 1 on top with a. I mean, you have to
okay,
put a 2.
it's
minus-
1 times this goes on top, so.
That's already.
The bottom is FOIL, but you don't have to do the whole FOIL. It's just first and last. Remember on conjugates? Just have to do that and that. Okay, the top is 1 times this, so what will go on top? 2 minus square root of 3. Does that simplify? No, it does not. Okay, the bottom, what's first?
4.
4.
Oh.
What's last?
3. Negative 3.
Minus 3.
Minus 3.
Square root of 3 times square root of 3. 4 minus 3 is
1.
1. And if anything is over 1, then what?
I thought it was
You don't
three.
really need the 1, so it's just 2 minus square root of 3.
Yeah, I did. So is it just 1 over? I mean, 1 under the 2 minus.
No,
There's-
Sam, we just wrote that because that's not the answer.
If there's a 1 on the bottom, you
Then
don't
why
need it.
you write it?
Thank you. Thank you.
Alright. 15. So guess what I'm gonna do on 15?
Sounds retarded.
Anybody wanna guess what I'm about to
Straight
do?
off the dome.
Um. No. Oh, you're gonna foil again with the bottom. I don't know what
That's
you
what
did
I'm
guess,
gonna
but
do.
I don't want
If
to.
you do that on the bottom, you gotta do that
On
on
the
the
top.
top. Because when you multiply by something over itself, you're really multiplying by 1, so you're not changing the value. That's why it's legal. Alright.
Legal.
We do the top first. Guess what I'm gonna do on the top?
Minus 4.
Distributive property.
3 minus 2.
So what would that be?
33 minus 22.
Square root of 33 minus square root of 22. Does that simplify?
Probably, but let's not check.
33? No. 22?
No.
No. Alright.
No. No.
Is it warm in here? Or is it just me?
It is pretty
Yeah,
actually
it's
warm,
Okay.
Mr. Jordan is correct.
What's the, so I'm foiling, but I'm not really foiling. I'm only first and last. Okay, what's square root of 3 times square root of 3?
3.
3. What's square root of 2 times negative square root of 2?
Minus 2.
What's 3 minus 2?
1.
1. So we can kind of get rid of the bottom again and just put the top. That's sloppy Joe. Alright.
We just go to 18.
No.
I woke up today and chose now.
Mr. Jordan wakes up every day and chooses violence. Yes, he goes, I want to go move.
Somebody complaining. Okay, what's different about number 17? What is different about 17?
One of these things
Yeah.
is not like the other.
Nothing.
Okay, there's something different. There's only one
Thingy.
Why do you have to make it look
term on the bottom.
So is it just
times the square root of
Times square root of 2.
sweet?
It's easy. You're just trying to fearmonger us.
It's like
Square
1 over.
two
It's like
over-
2 over 2.
2. Square root 2 over 2.
Sorry, my bad.
But this. But this.
Okay, oh, gross, 19.
Oh, gross.
There is a way we can make 19 easier. So 19 is like foil, right?
Wait, look at the outside
Just like
thing.
Yeah, if you look at the first parentheses and the third parentheses on 19, they are conjugates. If we do that, does order multiplication matter?
No.
No. So I can multiply those two first. So what's
5,
5 minus
9,
9? What is 5 minus 9?
minus 4.
Okay, and then I'll take that times the thing we haven't multiplied yet, square root of 2
So,
plus 1.
so negative 4, square root of 2, minus 1.
No,
Minus 4.
minus,
Minus 4.
minus 4.
I have the right.
Imagine being as wrong as Sam.
Where did that imagine thing
I don't
come
know,
from?
but I don't like it.
Imagine. Imagine
Imagine
not
not
liking it.
knowing that.
The
Imagine not knowing
sophomores,
where it came from.
the sophomores have been saying that for a month or two now.
Imagine. Imagine sophomores copying us.
Imagine being a sophomore.
I'm resisting violence right now, Bruce.
He didn't choose that.
Oh man.
21.
Don't.
Time for the party to start. 21. Let's do square root of 5 times that other stuff. Square root of 5 times square root of 35. You could multiply that together, but guess what?
You don't have to.
It's gonna break down to 5 times 5 times 7. Which means what does it simplify to?
5 square root of 7.
5 square root of 7. Okay, so on 21 I'm using distributive property. Square root of 5 times square root of 35 will eventually break down to 5 square root of 7. And then what's square root of, what's square root of 5 times 5? 5 square root of 5. Okay, and then we can take that times square root of 15 plus 2. So we got a FOIL problem upcoming. Oh, joy. Okay, so the first
Oh.
5 times square root of 7 times square root of 15. 7 and 15,
It would be 85.
um,
No, that'd be 100.
that's not going to simplify it. 7 times 15 is 105. So it's going to be 5 square root of 105. And it's not going to break down anymore because 7, 3, and 5 is what goes into it.
So what would the next one be?
Okay,
Square root of 5.
so that's the first. The outside, 2 times 5 is 10, so it's just 10 square root of 7. Inside is 5 square root of 75, but 75,
15 times 4. No.
well, it's 5 times 15, that's where
15
it
times 5.
came from. But it's, it's 5 times 5, it's 5 square root of 3. So, we have 5 times 5 square root of 3. 5 times 5 is 25, so it's just 25
It's
square root of 3.
making my head hurt.
I know I'm going fast, I just don't want to spend a whole lot of time. I might put one this hard on the test, it is possible.
No, it should just be a 2-day assignment.
Okay, and the last, what would 2 times 5 square root of 5?
10.
10 square root of 5. Do any of these go together? No,
Hopefully not.
they're all different.
Ew.
Square root of 105, square root of 7, square root of 3, square root of 5. All different.
Mr. Jordan,
Yeah.
this be today's assignment?
No.
Please.
Oh, look at 22.
Yeah.
Isn't it cute?
Oh, you're gonna do them together.
Let's do
Oh, man.
That's
Everyone's gonna ask questions on it.
Can we just do it tomorrow at the beginning of class?
X squared.
Can we just do 22?
I tell you what, if you figure out, well, 22 is bonus, we'll do that.
Oh.
Yes. Did you see that rap battle I sent you between
What?
Goofy?
What?
Goofy won.
Who's that?
Goofy
Yeah.
won. Didn't Goofy
No,
won?
man, I have a-
Goofy won.
I don't want your business.
So you're both out.
There's two of you. Goofy won.
There, what Mary?
So, foil, 3 minus square root of 2.
I like the basics.
3 minus square root of 2.
No, it was Goofy just the and responded.
Oh,
So Goofy, boy, Goofy had the thing.
Alright, Leo, tell
Nick,
me.
you may not want it.
Seven minus what? 7 minus what? 10. Oh yeah, that's what I got. Just boxing my answer, Sam. Gosh. Gorge. 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 Gorge.
Minus right there.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
They are so hard.
11 square
They nerf
Yeah.
you gotta know.
Now I'm stopping.
Wait, Sam, 7 minus 10.
They made it.
Wait,
so it's not show what shit.
Ten's a little harsh. Eight's a little harsh. That's taking plus 5.
Hey, if you guys are not done, you can get back out. Get out.
But he's really trying to find out.
You do number 20?
Unhinged winter soldier.
Is this minus 30 square feet?
Number 20.
I really,
I
I
Well, they probably did. They get it right.
Same with that. He likes standards. Thought that was a good fun. But he was like, so I was like,
18 square root of 3, right? Or square root of 2.
What?
What?
Yeah, there's square root of
Did you get 71 on 6, Sam?
On what? 6.
So it's 8
Minus 8?
Minus
8 plus 8?
64, Sam. 8 times 8.
I thought it was in the book.
These two, the square roots should multiply together.
I got two.
On the third two. So it's minus 6 square root of 2.
Wait, for example.
Square root times
Saying
square
my
root.
hand around the table. I thought it was on the table, so-
I think you should just do FOIL.
They're all
I got the first part.
Yeah.
I put it, I messed up my name because I put 20 at yours.
Correction it out.
Yeah, and you try to understand if you start with 10 20. Number what?
Then we're doing 6.
7 plus 64.
You have to do
Can you, then can you add 7?
Hey, Carter.
Oh, yeah,
Carter.
Yeah.
You probably
So
need more
it's-
than that.
Carter. sit down with that and use it.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't want to.
So, keep you have to keep figuring out what goes into these numbers and what nothing does. If it ends in a 0, I know that 10 is 32. So if you weren't sure, though, you know the
Sam, a number 4 can also be similar to 10.
340 divided by 10, 33.
Similar to
Then keep going. What goes into 10?
you have negative 3, you have 3.
Alright,
negative 3.
and since the only thing that goes in 5 is 5 months, that's the only thing that goes in 6 and you do 32.
People just don't understand that.
This.
32 divided by 4.
You know, I don't know. When?
So just that too.
Leo, what can you do? When can you do this?
So all it brings is that. So this means
I just forgot.
you have to take out, you have to do 3 at a time.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
you see how there's 1, 2, 3 there, and 1, 2, 3 there, and then we have 5 left over. What's 2 times 2? So it's 4 times 5. You figure it out? Which one? Did you spoil it or what?
Yeah, I did, but I just don't understand when it gets to the second.
Square root of 10 times square root of 20 square root of 200. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into 200, so you can just simplify it. Yeah. 100 is basic, or 200 is basically 100 times 2. So, and 100 is 10 times 10, so it's just 10 square root of 2.
Well, I got to this part. Why did you just skip or something?
Let's show weakness.
I'm looking forward to it.
On this, on square 60?
We already
Yeah,
know.
who's gonna win?
Square root of 320.
I feel like the thing is, yeah.
I feel like
I
I feel like you.
because I gotta split
I
it.
feel like you have like no idea about
I feel like
anything.
Godzilla's last cooler one, they comments were powerful.
You like the Marvel Godzilla one?
Godzilla struggled to beat the.
Kong would get smacked by the dragon.
Kong got taken down by a couple. It's like
Kong is.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did it well for the time.
No.
yeah.
Square root of 60.
Interesting.
Square root of 60 is going to simplify, square root of 24 is going to simplify.
Kong is not more powerful.
But you see the. Godzilla.
Say it.
Godzilla lost.
Squared
Never even
plus
one
6
human.
squared 5 minus 20.
No, the person who made the movie said the movie.
Everything except for that last thing.
There was
He was wrong to 7.
the director of the movie.
Oh, Mr. Jordan was number 8. It was
I want to see it for you.
should not know. Let's start with the Mr. Jordan.
So what was the
So, what was it? 10 times 4 is trying to get it.
Mr. Jordan, it was number 8.
Pluto?
Oh yeah, this was Frank Baker. It was number 8 that I was on.
There was 2 of them in the train.
He said that like it's
Yeah.
And 20 wasn't there to square root.
Killed my mom.
Oh, was it?
20 times 10 is 200.
He was one. No, he didn't.
It was number 8 that I was on. So 10 squared.
10 square root 2 instead of
This
that
guy.
last thing.
You get on the second one you get 3 square root of 20, and then simplify it. It's 2 squared 5 steps out of it.
So 3 times 2 is square root of 5, so it's 6 square root of 5.
Negative 12 plus
It's foiling, but since they're conjugates, you really want it to be the first and the last. 3 times 3 is 9. And square root of 7 times negative square root of 7 is just negative 7. We're not adding one. Square root times the square root is just the one number. And the positive times negative is negative. So it's 9 minus 7, which is...
Wait, is that?
Ava, did you figure your thing out?
Yeah, no, but it's 6 minus 6, so it's 0 over 15.
Well,
I mean, 13.
Here, use it there. Or bring that chair there. Okay, you're supposed to multiply by 3 plus square root of 6. Right?
Oh,
So you have to FOIL that at the top. And
plus
Check this one.
Okay.
If there's anything else, or that is there anything else we could do? Or can you do, oh, that's nice. What about square root? Probably. Oh, that's great.
where did this 12 come from?
4 times 3. Divided by the C, not 3 times 4.
Okay, you put number 10 there.
Yeah, I know, I was.
Alright.
I see that higher, but look at the
12, let's see, what's that say?
6 squared.
30. The 30 is wrong.
Are you supposed to like
Multiply, not add. Even if you were adding, you wouldn't add that. So what square root of 10 times square root of 20? Square root of 200, right?
and then you
You
can
can
do
let
that.
your calculator do that part.
Oh, yeah,
It can't do all of it at once, but it can do parts of it.
I'm done.
Oh, I've been recording this whole time.